Hello, hello. Hey. Okay, great. There we go. Just need to change the setting there. Okay. We are here for chapter 32. Late stream tonight. Still wanted to get it done. Didn't want to wait too long. We'll see how much we have to actually discuss. This is a very sort of surface level chapter. What happens is what happens. But we are going to read and discuss. What have I been up to lately? Well, like I said last time, I did spend a ton of time playing Death Stranding 2. Let me share the stream here. I always forget how to do this. Here it is, YouTube Live Control Panel. So I have played many hours of that. I think right now I have like 110 or 20 hours on it. And that is in less than a month. And then with some, days not included in that. There was a while where I was averaging 8 hours per day. So the joke about it being my second job is accurate. I would say that ended up being quite accurate. But now, of course, I'm playing Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Bonanza is on the Switch too. It's kind of the first big game. Post-launch, there was one big game, which is Mario Kart. This is the second big exclusive game, and I've been loving it. I don't think it's quite as good as Mario Odyssey, I will say, which is sort of a spiritual sequel to... Oh, I did that wrong. Why did that not work? Copy link. Streamer, copy link. Thank you. Thank you, Nolan. Yeah, it's the same team as Odyssey. It's sort of a spiritual sequel. I wouldn't say it's as good as Odyssey, but it's really awesome, and it's very next gen. That's something that really impressed me. Is that you want to play games where especially if you just got a new system, you want to play games where you can say, "Oh, this feels like they could not have done this on the previous system," and they definitely could not have. So I've been having fun with that. I'm, I think, a little over halfway through. And yeah, other than that, I've seen Superman twice by now. I'm a big James Gunn fan. I was very impressed with that movie. I didn't see it twice just to see it twice. I saw it alone the first time, and I wanted to see it with some friends in IMAX the second time, so that was what we did. And I was having fun with that. But I do think we should probably get started soon with chapter 32. So when we last left off, these new characters, the villains, the cards, had encountered Luna, the former partner of this Momoto Jillnose. And they got to her before Zatch and Kyo did, so we were wondering what was going to happen there. Zatch Gamer says, "I'm lucky this is a late one. I got my mother to finally start Squid Game, so I was watching that with her most of the night." Oh, that's cool. How much did you watch with her? I did see some of your thoughts on Season 3, which I wanted to respond to, but I forgot. I'm a pretty big Squid Game fan, and I like Season 3 quite a lot. I think the people complaining are kind of missing the big picture. In terms of complaining about, oh, the detective didn't get to do anything, or, oh, the decisions that these characters made are illogical, or whatever. I think they're missing the forest for the trees on that one. But I liked it a lot, and I think it ended in just about the only way that it could have logically ended. So we're here in Brazil with Luna meeting these two cards. We're here to see Jillnose. Oh, I didn't know Jill was expecting company. Jill's at home right now and treating herself to some delicious pão de queijo. I've not had those. They seem good, though. I wonder if they're like cheese curds. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So you're Luna, then? Just how old did you get? I'm 18, of course. Are you serious? That doesn't add up at all. You know that would be impossible, right? I'm Luna, by the way. The way he's kind of smiling. This lady in front of me is Camilla. I'm glad you're here. It's nice for her to have someone to chat with. Here's a gift. It's a photo of me dancing the samba. Wow, you were this beautiful all along? You had me totally fooled, Camilla. I never get tired of hearing that from young men like you. Back then, they used to tell me I had hips that were faster than the speed of sound. It seems something's going on here. We're not really sure what. What's up, Camilla? And then she started breathing heavily. An insect. Huh? A scorpion. Yes, there's a scorpion on Camilla that appears to have already stung her. Is this what Brazil is like, guys? Is Raikou giving the country a bad impression? There's just scorpions that they just sting you? I don't know. What do the Brazilians think about this? She's having some trouble breathing. Her face is all swollen and breaking out in hives. It's anaphylaxis. This is Luna. I need an EpiPen, stat. So she's sort of, a worker at whatever the care home is that, takes care of these people. I'll send you the location via GPS. Just please hurry. Okay, Camilla. I'm going to lend you my voice. Let my voice enter deep within your soul. Lend me your ears so that you may take these next words to heart. You need to hang in there. Imagine this. What do you love most in the whole wide world? I know it's hard to speak right now, so try to just picture it in your head. She pictures this smiling boy. Your grandson, right? Isn't he precious? Hear me, little ones that make up the building blocks of Camilla's body. I'm sure I startled you with my sudden knock at the door. So there's sort of electricity here in these panels to represent, I don't know, this sort of mental link that he's forming. But there's no cause for alarm. You're just scared right now because this bad feeling came back. But you know what? That fear should blind you to the truth. You're just in shock and it's making you nervous. That's all it is. You're lost in the dark, so I will shine a light upon you. There's clearly already using some sort of ability, but then he seems to use that ability to create possibly some sort of illusion for Camilla. This doesn't, I'm not, sure how much this just looks like the place where they already are, if it's supposed to be a completely different place. But it seems like it's supposed to be a different place. Look around. See the beautiful plant life? The crystal clear water. Even your grandson Verdi is here, smiling up at you. It's all going to be okay now. He puts his hand on hers. The breathing slows down. You actually see it X-ray vision, Superman, here. Her throat, her esophagus kind of gets less constricted. Her blood vessels, I don't know, is that good? They get smaller. Do we want that? And she appears to calm down. Camilla, can you hear me? Are you able to talk? Yes, I hear you perfectly well. I feel wonderful. Breathing's back to normal. Pulse is strong. No more hives, and her swelling's gone down quite a bit. There's an interesting ability. The anaphylaxis went away on its own without using an EpiPen. He kind of talks to the body itself, or like the cells or something like that. I don't know if they're specifically cells or if they're sort of like spirits that make up the biology of a person. And then he can like get them to do things. I assume that's basically how he's creating the illusion as well. He's maybe, using her eyes to do something. Seems to have some sort of like biology control. Much nicer than the last guy did. Than the last guy's biology power there. Yeah. Um, who in the world are you? Ah, now I get it. That explains how you knew about Jill Nose. You're demons, aren't you? Has the battle to decide the king started up again? No, on both counts. I'm Cuffy. And this here's Ellaby. So that was the name he used last chapter. We didn't know what it was exactly. Thought it was a reference or something. No, it's actually her name, Ellaby. You see, we both came here to make friends with Jill Nose. Well, any friend of Jill Nose is a friend of mine. Glad to hear it. So now we're thinking, oh my god, what? There's these guys. They're using a different tactic. You know, what kind of harm do they mean to Luna and Jill Nose here? Back of the home, you can actually see what it's called. Usina Casa de Repauso. Now, is that a real organization? I didn't look that up. It looks like it is actually just a Brazilian word that means, well, apparently plant or factory, which I suppose would not be accurate. I think Reika's using it here, perhaps somewhat incorrectly, just to mean, I think, like a kind of a facility. But I guess you'd have to get a Brazilian person to tell you if that is correct or not. So Usina is not the organization, I guess, just the name of the building. And then, Casa de Repauso, you can kind of assume what that means on your own. So Camilla's in bed with her grandson. There's a doctor. She seems fine. What? What do you mean Jill Nose isn't here? Just what I said. But, I mean, would it even be possible for us to see each other again? I know, didn't you read Zatch Bell 1, Coffee? Yeah, you'll see each other. That's the whole reason we came here. What are Gash and those other guys even doing anyway? How could they drop the ball on the most important demon of the bunch? Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to wait, Ellaby. Let's stop by the ocean, then. I want to go swimming. But it's raining right now. I don't mind. I'd still love to go. Phone rings. Yes? Someone's there to see me. Kiyomaru Takamine. Says he's friends with Jill Nose? Give it here. So she gives him the phone. That you, Kiyomaru? What the heck is taking so long? I've got Jill Nose's spell vial right here for you. Do you have a mummy, a book, and the soul with you? This is why why we need to have this explained last chapter. The elements that are needed to revive a demon. Zatch Gamer says, it was sure fun to have to keep avoiding the pronouns of this mysterious character that the characters know the gender of, but the readers have no verification about this time. Right, meaning Jill Nose. That's interesting. Yeah, just using the name a lot. What? The mummy won't be ready until later? How much later? Another 3 or 4 hours. Well, when the mummy does show up, just call Luna back, will ya? Here you go. Thanks. Hello, Luna speaking. Luna-san, has the guy I just got off the phone with caused you any trouble? Kyo doesn't look that concerned. Has he threatened your life in any way? I have no idea what you're talking about. In fact, this boy saved an old woman's life earlier. He's slurping on this soda. They both seem like really good kids. Let me just take a drink here. Actually, I have my my preferred mixture here, which is like it's like 80% lemonade, 20% orange juice. Very good. I don't really have a name for it. I call it goose juice just because that's fun to say. Whenever I think about it, that's often what I call it. You said it would take around 3 or 4 hours to finish repairing, right? When you're good to go, let's all get together and hash out the details, okay? I'm going to take these kids out for a bit. So, when you're ready to meet, call me back on the number I'm about to give you. Okay. Yeah. Go on. Got it. Something doesn't seem right about this. He was giving something to someone. I don't know if he was using the phone at this location. This is the airport. I don't exactly know where they are, but he's handling something. Now then, Want to shop for, or want to shop around for a swimsuit you can wear? Huh? We're in a nursing home, you see. Camilla's the elderly woman I look after, and she's got plenty of money. She lent me some of it so I could take you two out for a nice treat or to show you kids a good time as a thank you for saving her today. Nice quick little explanation there. I don't know, we need, like, Luna can have money, I don't know, but there you go. She even gave me the day off for it. Well, I guess that's something that maybe some people would have wondered about. Well, no, that's not the. I don't know. I don't think that's the nursing home raise that Kyo is at. It would be if he was there, he would just be meeting them, right? I mean, I don't think they would even come by the nursing home likely until the sarcophagus is ready. You know. The mummy. So they leave to explore Brazil, buy a swimsuit. They're picking one out. They're walking in the rain with umbrellas. They're eating like some nice street food there. I don't know what that is. There's still some time left, but the rain hasn't let up yet. Do you still want to take a trip to the beach? Yeah. She looks very excited. She is here in the water. We're like getting very cinematic now. Very dramatic. She's in her swimsuit, walking out on the beach, having a great time, even though it's raining. Letting the water splash her, swimming a little bit. They're watching from the beach. She's swimming around, looking at fish. She picks up one of the fish. I like the look on her face. It's a nice, sort of unique look. This is very like, you know, this is where you'd snap a picture. This should be the picture. They're having a good time in the rain, clearly, but there's sort of an impending doom about this, you know, like Cuffy wants he wants Ellaby to have a nice life, avoiding any real conflict. And, you know, they're just the calm before the actual storm. There is already a storm, but this is a very sort of cinematic montage here. Nice page, though. And Cuffy looks very wistful, like he knows, you know, this can't last. So, a little bit later, they meet with Zatch and Kyo. I'm shocked. I can hardly believe what the demon world is going through right now. Yeah, you see, once again, Cuffy and Ellaby, they don't read the manga, I guess. They didn't read Zatch Bell 1, and they have read Zatch Bell 2, so they can't explain what's been going on, which is they should read that. Apollo, I actually didn't notice this. Apollo is here as well. He's got the sarcophagus on a dolly. he's just helping out. Couldn't pay a guy to do that, bro. Yeah, Jasper Gamer says the fact that Ellaby doesn't remove her hat even while swimming and the orb is attached to it, I guess the hat is a part of her. Possibly, yeah. Yeah, the orbs usually seem to be a part of the demons. I don't know if the hat being a part of her came first when she was alive and the orb got added to it, or if once the orb got into the hat, she became able to take it off. We don't know how it works. Maybe Raikou will explain that in the next FAQ chapter. Heads up, this vial has Jill Knows' spells in it. So Jill Knows' spell element it's sort of like a piece, like almost like a board game piece, with sort of a fencing mask type thing representing a face and then two kind of crossed arms, kind of like the sarcophagus that we have been seeing in the series. You can use it to bring Jill Knows back to life. We're about to see a real success story unfold. Yeah. Just for clarification, you two do work for Belial, don't you? If you choose to side with us instead, aren't you worried he'll break that orb on your chest and make you disappear? You must be Kiyomara, the genius. I've heard rumors about you. They say you have a quick wit and a sharp tongue. In fact, my allies tell me your words can cut like a knife sometimes. Because all your allies are completely brain dead, especially the witch. And presumably he means the witch and not the rolling witch, but the people that he is thinking of when he says brain dead, as we can see coming out of his mouth, are Blue, the Rolling Witch, and the Witch. Classic Kyo here. I love that he has gotten a reputation for being kind of mean among the cards. Is awesome. Yay, we got to see it in person. They weren't kidding. That cuts deep. Yeah, Kyo is going a little demon mode here. Okay. So you were asking if Belial would wipe us out, right? I'll let you see for yourself. Shing. The orbs on them shine. I tend to forget that. So I guess all cards have orbs. It tended to be the monsters that we would see with the more visible orbs, but I guess all of them have them. And they're sort of surrounded by some sort of string, a magical string wound a bunch of times around them. I'm a sorcerer with a knack for rope magic, which is interesting because that seems very separated from the what he was doing before with Camilla. And, there's been sort of a question with a lot of these cards of what abilities did they have in real life and which ones were given to them by Belial. Like with, what was, Levy. Like with Levy from Consume's fight, who we will see again at some point. You get the idea that she was sort of the commander of these beasts in her life. But, I don't think she could spawn them from her hair. That was a Belial thing. And I wonder if maybe one of these abilities was his in life and the other that he used on Camilla, or maybe, whichever one it is, was one that was given to him by Belial. Maybe, I would think this would be the one that he had in life if it's something he's using against Belial. The rope here cloaks the orb and hides it from Belial's sight. After all, he can't crush what he can't see. Why are you hiding from Belial in the first place? I want to set Ella be free. Her body is like Belial's puppet right now, and I want to cut the strings. This new orb and Jill knows magic. I think we can make it a reality. So the orb is something new, right? Like, it's not the soul. So I'm not sure what the orb is. I guess we're gonna see. I just feel so bad for her. We don't know why he feels bad for her. Clearly he cares a lot about her. Maybe she had an especially hard life. Can you really do that? Is such a thing even possible? We won't know until we try. Luna pushed her glasses up. Ellaby looks kind of forlorn, like she's kind of sad to be technically the cause of this kind of sacrifice, but, he's gonna do it for her no matter what. I'll do it. I'll help you save her. Book shines, so Zatch, I think... You didn't put the element in the book yet, but it's shining. Zatch kind of has a determined look. Dude, hasn't talked until right now. Luna Dono, take this bottle and pour it into the book. So she puts the spell element in. Book shines even brighter. Soul pops out. Kyo opens the case. Where's Apollo? Oh, there he is. He's in the neck. I seriously did not notice that he was in this chapter until this reread. This sarcophagus, which looks like a very classical kind of sarcophagus, or maybe it looks kind of like one of those organ holder bottles that the Egyptians would have, with a kind of a bird design. This isn't really a fancy one. This looks pretty accurate to something to an artifact you might see in real life. The sarcophagus explodes, as we've seen a bunch of times. Ellaby's kind of funny there, arms extended. And we see someone emerge. For you and yours, it's Jill Nose! So yes, Jill Nose is sort of a magical girl figure, which is, I think, quite unexpected. I think Raikou knew that. We didn't know if Jill Nose would be a guy or a girl. We kind of maybe saw them a little bit last chapter. But I need to go back and check out what was in that picture. Let's see. So there's a picture at the end of last month's chapter. that they were looking at. And yeah, it shows Luna next to someone who, yeah, does seem to be Jill Nose. Now that we have seen Jill Nose, you can't really tell if it's a guy or a girl. It's just a person with light hair next to Luna. So now we know, yes, that is Jill Nose, and Jill Nose has grown up to be a sort of magical girl-looking figure. Now, Raikou has had a few character designs similar to this in the past. Notably, Big Boing in this series looks pretty similar to her, especially without knowing what her coloration is. And Raikou has apparently really not been happy about that. To sort of just address that right now. Ray says it's definitely not told to the readers whether Jill is male or female, even in Japanese. I don't know if you're editing that. Sorry, I read it too fast. I don't know. Sorry if you want to delete that. I think it's pretty safe to assume Jill Nose is female. I know we want to be diplomatic. You were just editing the messages. Pronouns in Japan work a different way, and it makes it intentionally ambiguous for the story. You're saying it wasn't told until now. You're not saying we still don't know. Yeah. You said until. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought. So going back to Big Boy, apparently. Raikou is getting like a lot of tweets in Japanese and a lot of messages, and these are the main. It seems to be the main, or even possibly the only way he like really gets feedback from readers that he actually reads. Seems to be on Twitter from Japanese fans. I doubt he looks at anything Western fans are saying on any platform. And he was seeing a lot of people go, she looks so much like Big Boing. Is this like Big Boing's sister or something? Which is probably more of a joke. But he did not appear to think this was very funny. Because he tweeted a couple times saying, stop saying like such basic stuff. Stop asking these questions. No, she's not related to Big Boing. She's not Big Boing. And he even screenshotted that when you search Jill Nose's name in Japanese, Jill Nose Big Boing is an autofill search result. So this clearly really kind of angered him in a way that is, I think, kind of funny, because it's like, how did you not predict this? Like, she just looks like Big Boing. I mean, it's like Raikou's designed other characters like this, like Capri in Animaland is also a sort of a blonde bombshell kind of look, when she's older, I mean, with very luxurious big hair with a lot of curls, and this sort of dancer type, outfit on, which, exemplifies Big Boing as well. I think Big Boing to Raikou is probably supposed to resemble like a female wrestler or like an American Gladiators kind of lady. I'm not really sure. Or like some kind of dancer or something. But it's very funny to me that Raikou thought people would not ask this. There have been some questions of, well, maybe Jill Nose is actually mostly covered up in her design. Maybe she's like wearing stockings or something. Maybe like between the collar and the leotard, there's a lot of there's something else that she's wearing, which I don't really think. I think the collar is just the collar. I think even colored she will look quite a bit like Big Boing, but people are wanting to see her colored now, and thinking that Raikou might choose a pretty radical coloration to make sure that everybody knows that she is not related to Big Boing. But yeah, Raikou is not happy there, in a way that we haven't really seen him like address like quote unquote criticism or something he was unhappy with about fan reaction to Zatch Bell. Like, we've never seen like stop asking for Coco from him, even though I'm sure Japanese fans are doing that. But we've seen this. We've seen stop saying she looks like Big Boing. I was thinking of doing something related to that for a thumbnail, but nothing would have really been good enough. Like it's the I could do nothing in real life, so the option would have just to have been like a pic of Big Boing with like, I was thinking of doing a pic of Big Boing and then writing Jill, Jill, Nose, Nose under it, which I think like would have been kind of funny, but it's like, that's not enough effort to kind of justify using that as the thumbnail. I don't know. I decided to just go with the Kyo face, which we're going to see pretty soon, which is a great face. So, but anyway, here is Jill Nose. She has sort of a nice intro that she recites. She goes, I'm not really sure what she's doing. She's just doing like a little like, you know, because she's like kind of a magical girl or like a character. She also has this heart emblem. So she's just doing this kind of pose where she goes, ooh, nah. Both Cuffy and Ellaby are spellbound by this. They're very, they're very impressed. Kyo and Zatch are clapping as usual. Kyo's reaction is like similar to one he would have for Big Boing. Chill. Luna? Is it really you? Of course. Then answer this question. What kind of fuel does a flying reindeer run on? We hear some sort of like, you know, it's kind of a silly like, ding, like she, you know, maybe something from a quiz show, or I'm not entirely sure what it would be as she kind of thinks of the answer to this. Pickled plums. Final answer. Bingo! Kyo, the now legendary Kyo face, the now iconic Kyo face, where he's sort of face palming or something. So yeah, Zatchbill Gamer explained this pun here. Of course, the Brazilian characters know this Japanese pun. And yeah, you just said it in the chat that like there might be more to this one than we know. Which yeah, I was thinking that myself. Like this might not be like a completely accurate explanation, but it does sound accurate. So I'm gonna read it. So you said the word for pickle plums is umeboshi. Yeah, those are like the legendarily sour plums that you see pretty often if you watch anime and stuff. Mentioned. Plums are sometimes used as a biofuel source in Japan. So that's kind of, I imagine, kind of the point where we're not fully sure on the explanation of that. Which we might not necessarily need that part of the pun for it to be kind of, you know, written in there anyway. It might only just be a pun fully based on the second part. So the word meboshi means to take a guess. That's the important part. Luna is guessing plums, which makes the wordplay for pickled plums. Kiyomaru is not amused by this. So that's, I guess, is maybe a bit they used to have. We didn't read their manga. No one was able to read their manga, so we haven't seen that bit until now. Luna, I can't believe it. I thought I'd never see you again. Hey, Jolos! Getting down to business. I want to use your spell, Miracopus Nova, very unique spell name, to give Ellaby a body of her own that she can have full control over. As I'm sure you already know, we had a hand in attacking the demon world, and we also played a part in carrying out Belial's evil plans. You can actually buy plums for fuel in Japanese storefronts. They come in a box. That is so bizarre. Fuel for what? Is it like plum oil? Like what form does it come in? It's very interesting. But despite that, I want to give Ellaby the freedom she deserves. So please, we need your help. Sounds to me like you're only asking because it's convenient for you. Oh, my king? No. Looks like that body is working out well for you. Thanks to you. So she seems to know Zatch a little bit. What do you think about these kids, my king? Can they be trusted? We don't know what's going to happen after they get what they want, you know? I've only just met them, but I can tell they're being honest with us. I'm sure that boy was speaking from the bottom of his heart. So Zatch has judged. What do you think, Luna? I'd like to help them. I heard their story, and I want to give her a chance at freedom. Even Ellaby is kind of pleading with those eyes. What spells do we have right now, Luna? I see Miracopus Nova and Miracopus Aruterigo. It's clearly supposed to sound like alter ego. Once again, very unique spell names compared to a lot of what we've seen, which we've seen a lot of different spells. Well, those are some pretty awesome spells to have right off the bat. Of course they are. I had to risk my life to retrieve them from Belial's spell vault. But I'm well aware that only the demon the spell belongs to can bring out its full potential. Luna, cast Miracopus Nova, would you? Thanks, Joe. I can't help it. You saw that sad look in her eyes, didn't you? Miracaboost Nova! So she does this thing. She kind of crosses her arms, and the hearts on her hands and her head light up, and they begin creating this figure in front. It looks kind of like a disco ball right now. And there's a very advanced spell to have inside the book. The only thing I heard about Jill Nose's magic was that she has the power to create dolls. So how does this superior class spell differ from her regular spells? I know the beginner class spells can only make smaller dolls, even though they can only do simple things like running and ramming into people. Would have been interesting to see them fight. But when you start to reach the higher level spells, you can give them more complex commands and move them around however you want. So we see an illustration of this. They're these sort of Barbie-looking dolls. They have quite nice faces. That's kind of what I mean by Barbie. They generally, they have a lot of these doll joints. They seem generally kind of undetailed outside of the faces. But with the most advanced level, you can even make dolls that resemble real bodies, sort of like a mere corpse. So we see this doll being formed. There's like all these weird elements to it that maybe represent different body parts being put together. There are these like sort of papers that are forming surrounding this thing. Yeah, Jill Nose herself resembles a Barbie motif. Yeah, you can be right about that. I wonder if that's sort of an inspiration there. Oh, so then that body you're using is... You got it. This body is exactly like that. You know those old mummies you found in those ruins? The ones we've been using as vessels for demon souls? Well, it turns out they were all made by one of Jill Nose's ancestors from 3,000 years ago. And we see this new... I don't know if this is just straight up forming the entire coffin, perhaps, being formed. Which already looks Egyptian, which is kind of funny. Even with this is not made by Egyptians, but it looks like it's already got like full hieroglyphics on it, like the birds and the praying people and the eyes. Which I don't know what the deal is there, if that will get explained. But the paper has now become these sort of strips, like on a mummy that now surround this figure. It's quite a cool image, and that is actually the last page of this chapter. For the rest, we're going to have to wait until next month. So, very interesting chapter. Check if there's any extras. Not really anything to mention. It was definitely kind of a different thing, for us to sort of get a chapter that is in a new arc, but no combat, just pure setup. Kyo and Zatch don't even appear until like halfway through or more. Zatchable Gamer says, I have to admit Gash didn't actually say it was like a mere corpse, but I threw that in there so people not familiar with the spell pronunciation can still deduce that Miracapus means mirror corpse. That's interesting. I didn't pick up on that, actually. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe, I don't know if you don't necessarily need to include the language. It might just work for a note in the margins or at the end of the chapter. But that's really up to you, honestly. Yeah, I suppose so, huh? That did not occur to me what the word meant there. Kind of a creepy thing to have all your spells be called. So, this is a super unique spell ability to have. What's especially interesting to me is the implication that seemingly that these bodies stick around almost indefinitely, which remind me, but I don't think we've ever seen something from a Mamoto spell that could be created that would just stay there. I could be wrong. I always sort of assumed, say, if there was a huge physical-based spell, like, say, like Boozerai's ultimate spell, for instance, and it was destroyed, that it would probably, like, fade away or something, Wouldn't the parts would not stay there. But maybe that's not true. Maybe non-energy things created by Mamoto spells would always stick around. you know. Clearly, Cyphogio, that's a physical object, right? That goes away when it's not being used. But maybe that's just not how it works all the time, And that's something that's weird, because that's something I have legitimately wondered in the past, like when the first series is going on. Like, wouldn't that be kind of weird if a Moto could create things or create a monster? You would kill the monster, and then it wouldn't, it would stay there. Wouldn't that be interesting? We're not creating monsters here. We're creating these sort of doll alter egos, homunculi, whatever you want to call them, things to possess, shells. So yeah, we're getting some really interesting lore drops here. We don't know how deep we're going to go into this, but what is it? Let me see what Zatch says here. He says thanks to you. Yeah, so Jill knows this, presumably. She knows a little bit about what happened with her ancestor here. Where it was one of her ancestors from 3,000 years ago that, in collaboration, presumably, with this sage guy from Egypt, created all the sarcophaguses with all the dolls in them, for the Momoto who could be revived into these dolls with the soul, which presumably is something specific to the spell she's using. I don't know if you could put Zatch's soul into one of these Barbie dolls from the higher panel. We know from the other revived demon bodies that they will remain and not fade away, even if anything happens to Jill knows. Presumably, yeah, because the person who made these specific bodies is probably long gone. So there's quite a few questions at the end of this chapter. I think they're going to be answered very quickly. There's not a lot to speculate on the sort of big picture from this chapter. But, obviously, what are Cuffy and Ellaby's real intentions? I think Cuffy does care about Ellaby. I think that, they do, they do have niceness to them, I don't think they're like, tricking Luna in the way they're acting when they're just out at the beach, But I do think, they still might betray them once Ellaby gets this body, if Belial, if they're still afraid of Belial. That's the thing that matters. I mean, that's a lot of shonen betrayals, right? It's the good guys betraying the other good guys because they're afraid of the big villain, who they think is too strong, can't be defeated. The good guys can't defeat the villain. And I'm sorry, but even in order to protect you guys in some way, I have to betray you. But of course, then the good guys do end up beating the villain. Now, I don't know if that's really what's going to happen. I don't know if once they get this body for Ellaby, if Cuffy's are immediately going to turn around and try to kill them with some spell. I kind of doubt that. But I think something's got to happen. They're not just going to leave Brazil. They're not, either Belial's going to send more cards because he's going to go, why can't I see these two? That's weird. And he's going to send more cards to see what's up. And there are going to be more people that we kind of need to protect. Or, maybe Ellaby has, maybe one of the two has been spoken to by Belial without the other one's knowledge. So maybe one of the cards might be turning against us without the other. We don't really know. Zastful Gamer says, when I first read the chapter, my opinion was that Cuffy may end up intending to sacrifice himself and isn't telling anyone. The ropes around the orbs might deceive Belial for now, but once Ellaby goes missing from his card database, it's going to set off alarm bells for Belial, and he'll eliminate Cuffy because of it. But he still might not be able to eliminate him if he can't see the orb. But then, for one reason or another, the orb might lose those ropes. We'll have to see. I think that's somewhat likely, yeah. We've had that already. We've had a lot of the male cards being willing to sacrifice themselves for the female cards in this series. It happened with Hanagebu. It happened with Bobby, who did not end up being sacrificed, but he was willing to do it. So I think there's going to be a fight at some point, but I don't even know if we're really going to see it next chapter. And I'm very interested to see what Jill Knows' other spell does. I don't know if it would create another version of her that mirrors her actions. Clearly, it does something unique that, you know, is probably not what Kyo is describing in terms of just getting dolls to, like, do things for you, like fight. I assume it does something very specific that we don't really know. Belial might know exactly what's going on. The ropes aren't doing anything. Definitely also possible. He could be kind of fooling them to see what they do. There are a lot of things that could potentially happen. The real question is, will there be some page next chapter where they go out of their way to somehow explain that Jill Knows is not Big Boing? They have, maybe, you know, Zatch describes what she looks like in detail to the reader. Maybe he's like, wow, I never noticed, Jill Knows, your brown hair is, like, so beautiful. Maybe he just says that out of nowhere. Not too much else to talk about in this chapter, as I said at the beginning of the stream. I think Cuffy's ability is pretty cool. That he can sort of talk to the sort of spirits or cells of the body is pretty unique. And I wonder how we might see that used in future chapters. It potentially really hurt a person if you try to use it kind of negatively on them, but he may not be able to use that ability to hurt people. We don't know. And then Ellaby, we haven't seen her abilities at all. She presumably has some. I don't know if they're related to the hat or to those weird kind of tentacles that are kind of maybe part of her hat or part of her coming down from the sides of her heads. They're like the Star Wars species that has the tentacles on the head, like Ahsoka. So yeah, I like their character designs. We do have some interesting things coming up. Overall, I would say the drama with Cuffy and Ellaby this chapter was not really catching me. I don't know. Like to me, we haven't seen these guys for long enough. We haven't seen them do enough for me to really care. Like, okay, he cares for her. That's great. I don't know why yet. He looks sad looking out at her on the beach. Like, okay, well, sure. Bad things are gonna happen. Like, I don't know. Like, there hasn't been. I still don't know these people quite well enough for that. Raiku's mined emotion out of people we haven't known for very long previously, so there's still time. And yeah, we just continue to get introduced to more and more cards. And often, arcs will end with... almost no arc ends with both cards, being destroyed. So we have a lot of characters at this point that we're going to see again, which is going to be very interesting, We might see card sorcerers that have survived team up with the card, monsters that have survived. Who knows what we're going to see. What happened to Moses? Did Moses just died, right? Because he lost? Thing with Cuffy that I don't know if anyone mentioned or not is that I don't know if he would have saved Camilla if he hadn't seen that photo of her prior. Might have only saved her because she was pretty. We have no idea. It's interesting way to think about it. So that you're saying if he is revealed as being evil, then that might have been his reasoning for saving Camilla. He's an appreciator of beauty. I don't know. Moses and Libra are dead. Okay, it was only ever implied. Yeah. Because I remember Barry kind of talking about his plan of being like, when Moses is gone, we need to know which of his things might be able to heal Momon or something. But I don't remember if that was like specifically shown. So I kind of think that's all we have. We're 50 minutes in. That's a little shorter than most of these chapter discussions, but yeah, there's not too much to discuss in this one. You know, it's the first part of this arc. There's not many big story reveals. You know, it was very focused on Luna and Jillnose and Ellaby and Cuffy. Kyo and Zatch just kind of come in towards the end to just, you know, bring the materials needed. But I am looking forward to next month. And I think we will get a chapter. You know, I think we're gonna get, you know, a couple more. I did say 50. Zatchville Gamer. I said 50. I see the timer at the bottom. There's a timer at the bottom of OBS that tells me. I'm not just guessing. So yeah, I don't know. I do my usual kind of Zatchville franchise update at the end of these. Nothing new since last month, I don't think. Last month we had a lot to talk about. Right now I don't think there's really anything going on. There's still a lot of merch always available now. And, you know, still optimistic about the future, but that is pretty much it. Trying to think what else I have to say. I don't know. I think we kind of just wrap it up, right? What else is there? Is there anything I'm missing about the chapter, going back through it? Not really, no. I hope we get a flashback with Luna and Jillnose. That would be cool to kind of see them in a fight in the first battle. And see what they look like and how they use their spells. I think that would be neat. Because only getting the chance to see, you know, like one of Jillnose's spells used for battle in this arc might be kind of lame. But Jillnose could become a major character in the series from here on. We don't know. Luna and Jillnose. Okay, so I think rather than just, you know, waffling back and forth going, what else is there? I think we're just going to wrap it up for now. I'm going to go probably watch an episode of Ironheart or something before eventually going to bed. But thanks, Zatchable Gamer, for being here. I don't think we had any other chatters. I don't know if we had any other viewers. But thanks to anyone who did watch. And as always, if anyone leaves a comment, I will respond. Oh, you had... okay. Save it for next month. And hopefully I'll have something a little better to make a thumbnail of in real life. Oh, I could have gotten an umbrella and did something, but no, that would have been lame, kind of lame too. Okay, thank you to everyone who watches in the future. Hope everyone has a good night. Bye.